God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. But God only knows the real you. There's a kind of love that God only knows.
Welcome to Season 2, Episode 22 of Your Journey Is Not Over. My name is Tanya Pearson Randolph. This is my own personal journey, and the expressions and opinions are of my own. I own all the rights to my personal journey and to Your Journey Is Not Over. Neither are to be used, copied, or edited in any way without my consent. Let me start today by apologizing for missing last Thursday's podcast. The old version of me would have never canceled. The reason I canceled is because my 11-year-old autistic grandson was on spring break. And with working my jobs and my weekly meetings and Zoom calls, etc., I wanted to spend what free time I had with him and have some fun and make some memories. Again, what I like to call the old version of me would have stayed on task, on schedule, even if it meant staying up all night and going without sleep. I would have done it. My OCD from my childhood trauma, my schedule, my task had to be completed. There were no ifs, ands, or buts about it. What I like to call now, the new version of me, is just all about releasing and letting things change and knowing it's okay to just be. To just be in the moment and truly enjoy moments in time. Not to be so serious and on task and on schedule. Break the routine. And then when you look back on the times that you do, and that I have, speaking for myself anyway, when I just release and allow whatever to happen, I don't stay steadfast on a schedule. I don't let my OCD, my need, again, to control and take over. Just go with the flow and ride the wave. Those have ended up being the best times of my life, the best memories. Want to know why? They weren't planned. They weren't scheduled. They just happened. These are things that I wish I would have learned so many years ago. I feel like now that I truly missed out on a lot of good memories. My OCD from, again, my childhood trauma, well, it robbed me of a lot of wonderful times, a lot of wonderful memories. As my grandma always said, though, everything happens the way it's supposed to. That's how God planned it. Nothing is a coincidence. There's a reason for everything. Some reasons are called memories. In the last 7 months, I have been in what I refer to as my hermit mode. I slowed everything way down, worked my jobs, was social at work, but after work, straight home. I had to remove people from my life, walk away from people that were not in my best interest. I had to stop trying to save others as a distraction from my own grief, my own pain, my own fears. I had to learn to, after being conditioned my whole life, to put others' wants and needs of me before my own. Again, I had to learn to walk away from people and respect that no matter what, we are each on our own journey. We aren't all traveling the same paths. We were each sent here to learn many different things along our journey. Again, this is my own little way of seeing things, okay? I relate this to a college, a university. There are thousands of people enrolled, taking courses, right? Are they all studying the same things? Will they all, every single one of them, become the exact same profession? Of course not. They are all studying for different careers, all on a different path of their own personal journey, right? Just like us. We aren't all on the same journey. Does that make anyone better than anyone else? No, it sure doesn't. We are all on our own journey, respectfully. What God sent us here to learn is completely different than what He sent each person to do and to learn. Once I stepped out of the box, so to speak, and I started realizing that very thing, things become less personal to me. The hurts, the betrayals, and the abandonments. No matter how much something hurt, it was all meant to happen that way. And it happened the way it was supposed to. It was their journey, and it happened in my case to teach me many lessons and hopefully teach those lessons too. So I've spent a lot of alone time reflecting and getting closer to God, praying and learning and journaling, finding peace within myself, a balance to my life, doing things I loved to do so long ago, reading and writing. Reading has always been my escape. When I lived alone at 10 and 11 years old, I would rent out 3 books every Friday from the school library, and I would have them read by Monday and ready to check out more. My favorites were, and they still are, Helen Keller, and also the Boxcar Children's series. I related to that series so much. And Frank Diaries. Writing is something I've loved to do. I, somehow in elementary, started writing poetry. If I'm being honest, I think it was just a way for me to express myself because I was really withdrawn, quiet and to myself. So writing poetry started really early. I would always get chosen for the Young Authors Conference, but I could never attend because there would be no one there to take me. I didn't get to attend anything that was after school hours, not until 8th grade. I wrote a 3-page poem about graduating 8th grade, and I got asked to read it at our 8th grade graduation. That was, in fact, my first public speaking, and everyone loved it. And then writing for the radio stations, and writing and doing weather reports, commercials, public broadcast announcements. So, yes, writing was definitely a passion of mine early on. Well, life happened. I graduated high school. Babies came along, jobs, a house to clean and take care of, bills to pay. We all know daily struggles, daily chores. We get so caught up with the hustle that all at once we take a breath and we realize, wow, 30 years have gone by in what seemed like a blink of an eye. So taking this alone time, this downtime for myself, again, my hermit mode. During this time of healing, it's been so peaceful. When I'm at work, I look forward to getting home and getting in my PJs and doing what I love to do. I lost the fear of being completely alone, and I just embraced it. I gave all control over to God, and I now have a peace of knowing I needed this time. Not to hide away from the world, no, not at all, but to begin to feel safe and at peace and find my balance. It's been a huge part of my healing journey. I can't explain to anyone truly how peaceful life gets when you cut out the noise and the distractions and you focus on yourself. Your wants, your needs, the things you love to do. Do the things that make you happy and give you peace. I can honestly say, my inner child, well, she has came out. She was locked away for so long. The fear, the innocence, the needing to feel safe to come out. I gave her peace, security, a safe space. I gave her space to come out, and now I enjoy life a whole new way with a whole new perspective and a whole different sense of humor. Allow yourself time. Take the time to reflect, to remember who you used to be all those years ago. Before your innocence was robbed the first time, the first heartbreak, the first betrayal. Please go back to that moment in time and remember what you loved to do, what made you happy, what gave you peace before we even knew what peace meant. From my own personal experience, these last 7 months have been again so peaceful and wonderful all in the same breath. I look back on my life and I realize that I wasted so much time in my life staying on schedule, on task. I let my OCD rule everything. And I truly missed out on so much joy, so much happiness, laughter, and a lot of memories. So I convey to you today that it's okay not to be OCD. Feel the need to control every outcome of every situation. That gets so exhausting and it takes away from the true experiences that life has to offer. As they say, please stop and smell the roses along the journey. Some of those scents that you smell will stay with you forever. Again, my pen just flowed. I will get back on track eventually. I promise. Here's some things I chose to share today. By the way, I've gotten a lot of feedback on the fact that I've added scriptures and things that have helped me, and I am so glad it's helping others. As my great niece, it's my best friend since 12 years old, the one that bullied me, and her karma is, I will always say this too, is she fell in love with me and got stuck with me for the remainder of our lives. Well, it's her granddaughter, whom I do call my great niece. She taught me the sweetest lesson ever. She said, "You know what, Aunt Tanya?" I said, "No, what? Tell me." She said, "Sharing is caring." It melted my heart completely. So, yes, sharing is caring. I do not own the rights to the things that I'm about to share. Healing is a journey, not a destination that you arrive at overnight. It's walking through the valleys, facing the wounds, and surrendering the pain to Jesus. Even when it feels like nothing is changing, it's uncomfortable, it's messy, and sometimes it will feel like you're going backwards before you move forward. But every step, even the painful ones, is shaping you. God doesn't rush the process because true healing isn't about feeling better. It's about being restored, refined, and made whole in Him. The fire may be intense, but it purifies. The breaking may hurt, but it leads to rebuilding. The waiting may feel endless, but it's where God will strengthen your spirit. Keep going even when it's hard. The story doesn't end in the struggle. There is you, joy, peace, and purpose on the other side. God is faithful, and He is with you on every moment of the journey. Also, another thing I want to share, it's called the backpack effect. The more you travel, the lighter you pack, not just in luggage, but in life. You realize you don't need much to be happy. Not the fancy clothes, not the latest gadgets, not the approval of others, just freedom. A sense of purpose and a heart open to adventure. In the end, it's not about how much you carry. It's about how free you are to move on your journey. Before I sign off today, I will close with another thing my grandma always said. There were many things, by the way. When you leave this world, you don't take any worldly possessions with you. You only take love and memories. So please go off of the beaten path, the schedule, the pre-planned. Have fun and make some memory. This concludes my podcast for today. Please join me Thursday. Listen in and always remember, your journey is not over. God bless.
God only knows what you've been through. God only knows what they say about you. God only knows how it's killing you. But there's a kind of love that God only knows. God only knows what you've been through.